San Diego 6 News in the morning. Your station for balanced news.
This morning we're going to tell you about some breakthrough medical research underway right here in the San Diego area.
Coming up, we are joined by Dr. Joel Linden, who will explain the efforts to learn more about sickle cell disease.
Well, you may have heard of the disease sickle cell anemia and have some idea of the populations that it's predominant in. Well, today we're going to explain more of that and also let you know about some very exciting research going on here in San Diego. And I'm already finding this fascinating. Dr. Joel Linden is with us this morning from the La Jolla Institute for Allergy and Immunology. First off, sickle cell and sickle cell anemia, related but two different conditions. Explain that first off.
Well, sickle cell anemia is a genetic disease. So you're born with it, and you can get a gene from either parent. So if you have one sickle cell gene, then you're said to have sickle cell trait.
Okay.
And you're not very sick, but you carry the disease and you can pass it on to your children.
So if you happen to marry somebody that has this gene as well, you have a good chance of having a child that has sickle cell anemia.
You have a 1 in 4 chance. You have a 1 in 4 chance of getting both the sickle cell genes from each parent.
Well, then explain what sickle cell is, and then I want to talk about the populations it comes from.
Sickle cell anemia is a disease of red blood cells. It's actually a mutation in the protein called hemoglobin that carries oxygen. And when you have sickle cell anemia, this defect in hemoglobin causes the red cells to become very fragile and sticky. So they don't last very long. They break. That's what causes anemia, which means low red cell number. In sickle cell anemia, you don't get enough oxygen delivered to your tissues, and that causes a number of very serious consequences.
And lifespan is typically, what, 40, 50 years at the most?
It's 42 for men and 48 for women.
Right, so it's not a good outlook if you happen to have sickle cell anemia. Now, the populations that it's predominant in, I'd always heard of African descent, some Asian, and where else?
Around the Mediterranean and South America, Central America.
Now, I had always thought that was just coincidental, that we knew where it came from. But you say there's a reason for this that I had never heard before.
Sickle cell anemia protects you, well, not sickle cell anemia, sickle cell trait, one gene, protects you from malaria. And the regions where it's most common are regions where malaria is most common. So malaria is carried by mosquitoes, and mosquitoes breed in Africa and South America, near the equator in sort of tropical regions.
So does it look then like sickle cell anemia might have been, or sickle cell trait might have been the body's defense mechanism against malaria?
Yes.
So it was a good thing to some point.
Yes.
See, that's fascinating. But now, again, we don't view it as a good thing. It's a very tragic disease if people have it. So what's the research that we're doing here in San Diego that can absolutely revolutionize this thing?
Well, at the La Jolla Institute, we're working on the immune system, and what we've discovered is, in addition to the problems with red cells, there's also problems with white cells getting activated. These are the cells that protect you against disease. But with all the tissue damage that's going on in sickle cell anemia, the immune system gets activated, and it actually makes the disease worse, all this white cell activation. So we've been concentrating our efforts on developing new drugs to inhibit white cell activation and trying these initially in mice that have sickle cell disease, and we're seeing very good improvement in the mice. So now we're doing a clinical trial where we're beginning to test this concept in man, and we hope that it'll work in man as well as it does in the mice.
Now, are you calling for volunteers for this? Would you like to get the word out on that, or do you have the people you need?
Well, so these are clinical trials that require IRB, what's called IRB approval, which means the institutes where they're being conducted have to have special approval to test the drugs. And there's only a few centers right now where this is going on, and right now it's in Boston and St. Louis. So for now we don't need any more volunteers. Okay. If the initial trials go well, then we might expand these trials and open up some more centers, perhaps in other big cities. Los Angeles probably would be a good one because there's a very large African American population there.
That's fascinating. So if folks want to keep track of this, can they? Is there a particular place they can go for information that helps them stay in touch with this?
Well, there is a chapter of the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America in San Diego. They have a website, lots of good information, and the Institute also posts information on the website from time to time.
Doctor, thank you very much for the update. Absolutely fascinating. That's like a mini medical lecture right there on the spot.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, for more information, you go to san-diego6.com and you click on Hot Topics. Isn't that interesting, Brooke, that the body would develop, you know, a response to fight malaria, but then it causes other complications.
Yeah.
And somewhere down the road, you kind of figure all that out, and eventually that leads backwards towards finding a cure.
Yeah, it always fascinates me, all of that medical stuff. You know, I mean, it's just incredible what the body can do and what the body does. So, yeah, fascinating stuff. Not too interesting with our weather right now if you don't like cloudy skies and cooler temperatures, because that's what we've got.